So you and your spouse both got raises this year. Congratulations! You're now a household pulling in $120,000 combined, maybe $140,000. You did everything they told you to do. College degrees, steady jobs, you bought the house, got the good debt, the mortgage, the student loans at reasonable rates, maybe a car payment on something reliable. And somehow, you have less money than you did 3 years ago. You look at your checking account on the 25th of the month and think, where the hell did it all go? You're not buying crazy stuff. You're not living beyond your means. You're doing exactly what the system told you was the path to financial stability. So why does it feel like you're being punished for doing it right? I'm Jimmy. I follow the money until it starts lying. Here's the thing nobody tells you about climbing the income ladder past 6 figures as a household. The game changes, and not in your favor. When you're making $50,000, $60,000, the system actually has some built-in advantages for you. Earned income tax credit, child tax credit at full value. You can deduct student loan interest. Your effective tax rate is manageable. Society looks at you and says, okay, you need some help. Here you go. But cross 100,000, 125,000, suddenly the system looks at you differently. It says, oh, you're doing well. You don't need help anymore. Except you're not doing well. You're just less broke. Let's talk about what actually happens when two people earning decent money get married and combine incomes. First, tax brackets. You don't just add your incomes together and pay taxes on that. You get pushed into higher marginal rates faster than you think. That 22% bracket, you hit it at $89,075 for married couples filing jointly. The 24% bracket, that's at $190,750. But here's the scam. A single person hits 22% at $44,725. Two single people could each make $44,000, that's $88,000 combined, and stay in the 12% bracket. Get married? Boom, you're at 22% on everything above $89,075. That's not how most people think it works. They think we're making more, so we're better off. But the tax code doesn't care about your feelings. Second, deductions start vanishing. Student loan interest, you can deduct up to $2,500 unless your modified adjusted gross income is over $145,000 married. Then it phases out completely by $175,000. So let me get this straight. You went to college like they told you to, you got the degree, you got the good job, you're still paying off the loans, and now you make too much money to deduct the interest? That's a scam. Child tax credit? Full $2,000 per kid unless you make over $400,000 married. Okay, that one's pretty high, but if you've got 2 kids and you're at $130,000, you're still getting it, for now, but you're starting to feel the squeeze everywhere else. Third, and this is the one that really gets people, lifestyle inflation that isn't actually optional. When you make $60,000, you live in a certain neighborhood. Your kids go to certain schools. You drive a certain car. But when you're at $120,000, $140,000, society expects you to live differently. The neighborhood you could afford at $60,000, you don't want to stay there anymore because the schools are struggling, the commute is brutal, and honestly, you worked hard to give your kids better. So you move. The house costs more. Property taxes are double. HOA fees appear out of nowhere. Your car insurance goes up because you're in a different zip code. You didn't get greedy, you just wanted your life to match your income. But the gap between what you earn and what you keep, that gap is growing. Let me show you the math that makes people feel crazy. Let's say we've got 2 scenarios. Scenario A, Sarah and Mike, both 35. Sarah makes $65,000 as a teacher. Mike makes $70,000 in IT. Combined household income, $135,000. Scenario B, Jennifer, single, also in IT, making $72,000. Let's run the numbers. Sarah and Mike, the dual income couple. Gross income, $135,000. Federal tax, married filing jointly, standard deduction,
roughly $16,400. FICA, Social Security plus Medicare, $10,328. State tax, let's say 5% average, $6,750. Take home before anything else, $101,522. Now let's add health insurance, 2 people, employer plan, $400 a month equals $4,800 a year. 401k contributions, they're saving 6% to get the match, $8,100. Student loans, they each have $30,000 left at 5%, $7,200 a year combined. Actual spendable income, $81,422. Per month, $6,785. Now let's look at fixed costs. Mortgage, modest 3-bedroom in a decent school district, $2,400 a month. Property tax, $400 a month. Home insurance, $150 a month. Car payment, one modest SUV for the family, $450 a month. Car insurance for 2 drivers, $200 a month. Utilities, electric, gas, water, trash, $300 a month. Internet and phone, $150 a month. Groceries for a family of 4, $800 a month. Gas, $250 a month. Childcare for 1 kid, after-school program, $600 a month. Total fixed monthly, $5,700. What's left? $1,085 a month. That's for everything else. Clothes, haircuts, school supplies, birthday parties, car repairs, medical copays, the kids' activities, saving for college, a vacation once a year. Let's look at the math. They're making $135,000, and they have $1,000 a month of wiggle room. That's it.
Jennifer, the single earner. Gross income, $72,000. Federal tax, single, standard deduction, roughly $8,800. FICA, $5,508. State tax, 5%, $3,600. Take home, $54,092. Health insurance, single, $200 a month equals $2,400. 401k, 6%, $4,320. Student loans, $30,000 at 5%, $3,600. Spendable, $43,772. Per month, $3,648. Fixed costs, rent, 1-bedroom apartment, $1,400 a month. Renter's insurance, $25 a month. Car payment, $350 a month. Car insurance, $120 a month. Utilities, $150 a month. Internet and phone, $100 a month. Groceries, $350 a month. Gas, $150 a month. Total fixed, $2,645. What's left? $1,003 per month. Wait, hold on. Jennifer, making half what Sarah and Mike make as a household, has basically the same amount of discretionary income per month. Actually, slightly less, but she also has half the people to support. That's a scam. Now let me show you what happens when Sarah gets a promotion. She goes from $65,000 to $80,000. That's $15,000 more a year. That's life-changing, right? Let's look at the math. Extra gross, $15,000. Federal tax, now in 24% bracket on the margin, negative $3,600. FICA, negative $1,148. State tax, negative $750. Extra take-home, $9,502. But wait, their child care costs go up because they no longer qualify for the subsidy they were getting, plus $1,200 per year. Student loan interest deduction starts phasing out, lose $800 in deductions, equals plus $176 in taxes. They move to a slightly bigger house because they can afford it now and the neighborhood is better, plus $300 a month equals plus $3,600 per year. Actual extra spendable money, $4,526. Per month, $377. She got a $15,000 raise and they kept $377 a month. That's a 30% retention rate.
That's the bracket creep nobody talks about. You're not just paying more taxes, you're losing benefits. You're expected to spend more, and the gap between what you earn and what you actually get to use keeps shrinking. This is why people making six figures still feel broke, because by the time the system takes its cut, by the time you pay for the life you're supposed to have at that income level, there's not much left.
So what do? First, you have to understand that this isn't your fault. The system is designed this way. It's designed to extract maximum value from the middle to upper middle class because that's where the money is. The truly wealthy, they have accountants, they have structures, they have ways around this. The lower income, the system can't squeeze much more out. But you're the sweet spot. You make enough to tax heavily, but not enough to have sophisticated tax strategies. So here's what you actually can control. 1. Max out pre-tax contributions. Every dollar you put in a 401k, HSA, or traditional IRA is a dollar that doesn't get taxed at your marginal rate. If you're at 24%, that's an immediate 24% return before any investment gains. That's better than almost anything else you can do with that money. And it lowers your AGI, which might keep you eligible for deductions that phase out. 2. Understand the difference between gross and net. Before you take any new job, any raise, any side gig, calculate the actual take-home after taxes, after lost benefits, after new costs. If a $10,000 raise only nets you $4,000, is it worth the extra stress? Maybe, maybe not, but at least you'll know what you're actually getting. 3. Resist lifestyle inflation like your life depends on it, because financially it kinda does. Every permanent increase in your fixed costs is a permanent decrease in your flexibility. The bigger house, the nicer car, the private school, those aren't inherently bad, but they lock you in. They make you dependent on that income level forever. And if something happens, layoff, health issue, economic downturn, you can't scale back easily. 4. Play defense before offense. Everyone wants to talk about investing, side hustles, building wealth. That's offense. But if you're hemorrhaging money through taxes and unnecessary costs, offense doesn't matter. You need to plug the leaks first. Get your withholdings right so you're not giving the government an interest-free loan. Audit your subscriptions. Refinance your debt if rates dropped. Check if you're overpaying for insurance. Boring stuff. Stuff that doesn't feel like winning, but it's the stuff that actually matters at this income level. 5. Accept that six figures doesn't mean what it used to. In 1990, a household income of $100,000 put you in the top 10%. You were affluent. Today, $100,000 is middle class in most cities. It's comfortable if you're careful, but it's not "we made it" money. And that's okay. Once you accept that, you stop feeling like you're failing because you're not living the life you thought six figures would buy. You adjust your expectations to match reality instead of matching them to what society says you should have.
Here's the truth. You're not bad with money. You're not spending recklessly. You're not failing. You're just living in a system that's really, really good at making you feel like you are. The more you make, the more it takes, and the harder you have to work just to stay in the same place. That's not a bug. That's the design. So stop blaming yourself. Start understanding the math, and start making decisions based on what you actually keep, not what you think you earn. Because the number on your offer letter, that's not your number. Your number is what hits your account after everyone else takes their cut. And once you see that number clearly, everything else starts to make sense. Or at least, it makes sense why it feels so hard.